Ready. I'm ready.
Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In Depth with David. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, but good to be back. And today, as you can see by the title, we are going to be recapping Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. And today, I have another new guest, his first appearance on my channel, my good friend Carter. Carter, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Davey. How are you doing?
Good. So, I guess we have a little bit to talk about with this game that happened last night. Where do you want to start? I guess we can take this in any direction.
Well, first, I just want to get it out there. I just want to get our predictions out there for the series. So I'm saying let's mark it here. I'm saying Suns in 6 games. 6 games for the Suns. The Bucks are going to win 1 home game and 1 away game. Suns are going to win the rest. What do you think?
So my prediction before the series and probably still after last night's game is Suns in 5. It's just clear Giannis, and I don't even think the Bucks played terrible last night. I mean, I'm sure we'll go into that later. Obviously, they scuffled at times and made it easier for the Phoenix to run away with it. But I thought Milwaukee played okay. Obviously, people are definitely going to disagree with that. But I just think it's an instance where Phoenix is just playing with a lot of momentum right now. They're super hot. Devin Booker is doing really well in his first playoff run. Chris Paul is just determined to get a ring. I know everyone in the NBA community just seems to want to give him one or want him to get one. So I think it's just meant for the Suns to win. I think the stars are going to align for them to win 5 because I don't think even though Giannis looks to be pretty healthy, I know it was a big question mark on his health before the series started. I think he looks pretty good, but I don't think he can do it all.
Yeah, no, I was curious also. Weren't they saying like he wasn't going to play right up until the game? I feel like it was like that. Like everybody was like, nope, no way he's going to play. And all the NBA analysts, like everybody was saying he wasn't going to play, and then all of a sudden he's playing. Like, does that mean they just made like a final decision like last minute, or are they trying to hide the fact that he wasn't that injured? Like, how injured really is he? That's what makes me think.
Thanks, everyone. Before I answer that question, thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I'm assuming this is a lot of Carter supporters over on his YouTube channel, but I welcome you as well. You're watching a great YouTuber in Carter. He's done a great job growing in the last few months.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so to answer your question about Giannis, I thought the same thing because they had him listed as doubtful all the way up until the 11th hour or like an hour before game time. And I thought he wasn't going to play. I thought he wouldn't be available until maybe game 3 at the earliest.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is you see the video. I don't know if you saw that, but SportsCenter put out a video of him warming up before the game, and he looked pretty good. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a chance he could play, even though he's listed as doubtful. And then you get the alert saying Giannis is going to play. And I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about it at the time, but you could tell in the first few minutes. I don't know if you agree with me on this or not, but you could tell in the first few minutes that Giannis looked pretty good.
Yeah, no, he was dunking like he usually was. I thought he was going to be like staying away from the paint, kind of going for jump shots, which was my worry because he cannot shoot that ball. He cannot shoot the ball. But he seemed like he was playing like his normal self. I think he had like 16 rebounds, something like that. I can fact check myself, but he had something like 16 rebounds, like 16 points, like around there. So he did his thing.
He played 35 minutes, 20 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 assists. And again, like I said earlier, it didn't look like he was hurt at all. He was doing his thing. The thing, I mean, what you're going to get with Giannis, though, and we both know this as people who watch the NBA, is he's awful at hitting free throws. He missed, I have it right here. I think he missed like 4 or 5 free throws. And, obviously the fans, and there's been a lot of complaints in the playoffs about how he takes forever to shoot the ball. I don't know if you caught that, but the fans,
it takes
they count
like all 13 seconds.
Yeah, so I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, yes, it's a violation, but it is what it is. It's whatever. Yeah, I think he missed like 4 or 5 free throws. So, I mean, you're just going to get that with Giannis, but I thought he had a pretty dominant performance.
Oh, yeah, no, he definitely he surprised me with the free throws this game. I thought he was going to be a lot worse because I think we've seen like him do like maybe like 20%, 30%, but this time around he surprised me with the free throws. I think it was, let me see, I have the facts right in front of me. 7 of 12, which is it's more than 50%. You know, we can't
Appreciate the support.
ask for that. Exactly, and he's 1 for 2 for 3 as well. So he played well. But on the Suns side, one person I want to talk about was Jay Crowder. He had 0 points going into the fourth quarter and scored 1 point. It was a free throw the last few seconds of the game. Do you think if Giannis played better, do you think that Jay Crowder would have been the reason they lost, the Suns? If they, you know what I'm saying, if they were to lose?
So Jay Crowder definitely didn't have a good game last night, but I think he's one of those players where it's kind of like Marcus Smart on the Celtics. Probably Marcus Smart more in his earlier years, and it's funny I'm using that as a comparison because I don't know if you remember this, because Jay Crowder used to play for the Celtics.
Oh, yeah. He's been everywhere, I feel like. Absolutely everywhere.
He's like the modern day Shaq, people are saying, where he just is like the NBA rainbow, just like goes to all these different teams. But Jay Crowder is one of those players where he's going to give you great defense, and he might not always be able to score a ton. And I think that was the situation last night, but he impacts the game more than the scoreboard shows. And I think I don't remember if Giannis was matched up on him, but Jay's just one of those guys where you love to have him on your team, but you hate to play against. And
oh yeah, definitely infuriating.
When he gets hot, and I thought it was hilarious how he missed. They made the first 25 free throws of the game, and then Jay Crowder missed the free throw at the game, so they didn't go perfect from the line. I thought that was funny, but I think he has experience with whether it be the Celtics, the Cavaliers, the Jazz, or the Heat. I mean, he's gone to 2 straight finals now.
Yeah, so. He's in the finals last year. I kind of forgot about that.
And I think his experience, we haven't heard about it enough this playoffs, but I think that's a big reason as to why the Suns have just been so like cool, calm, and collective. I mean, you know, any regular NBA player, like I'm sure me or you, if we go up against LeBron and Anthony Davis, I don't care if they're at 36 and 28 and they're on their last leg, we'd be scared. But
yeah,
they just did their thing. And I think Crowder has something to do with that because he played some good defense in that series. And he's been a great staple of their team for the whole season.
Oh yeah, he really has. He's a good player. He's solid for the Celtics. I feel like he's really been solid for like every team he's played on, just like a solid role player. Like he's not a star. He won't get you like more than maybe 12 points, but he'll get you like maybe like 7+ rebounds, like maybe 10 points, maybe an assist or 2. But I feel like he'd probably, if Giannis were to play like his normal self, like 30-something points, getting like 16 rebounds, I feel like he'll have to step up a little more for them to be able to win practically.
Yeah, they're going to need him to do more than just play good defense because a lot of the Heat fans actually point the finger at Crowder for losing last year, which I think is a little ridiculous because he didn't shoot well in that Lakers series, if I remember correctly, but like they weren't going to beat the Lakers. They had no chance.
Yeah, and like half that wasn't like a bunch of the people on the team were hurt too. Like Hero, pretty sure he was hurt.
Oh, Tyler Hero.
Yeah, Hero.
Or,
yeah,
some people call him Tyrone Hero.
Yeah, he was hurt.
So
I forget who else, but it was a couple other people. Bam, maybe.
Bam Adebayo was dealing with something, if I remember correctly. Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic. So
what we got here. I'm hearing music. Where's this come from? Oh, never mind. Sorry. There we go. I was hearing music from an ad on ESPN. There we go. Sorry about that.
Oh, Jay Crowder I think he was an underrated pickup this offseason. A lot of people didn't understand why the Suns dished out $10 million per year to him, but it's paying off. They're in the finals.
Steal. Yeah, it's kind of a steal, $10 million a year for him. Like I feel like the players are just getting more and more expensive too. Like I feel like he pays so much for such a subpar player.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's just it's as long as you have a jump shot, you're guaranteed $15 million a year in this day and age in the NBA. But
exactly.
Moving from that, really the turning point in this game was in that first and second quarter, also known as the first half, when the Bucks were missing a lot of opportunities from right outside the basket. I don't know if you caught that too,
Bad.
but they were missing a lot of layups and allowing a lot of second chance opportunities, which you don't want to do, not against the Suns or against any team. And I thought that did the Bucks in, and more so than them just scoring, it's more of a momentum thing where you're at home and you're not finishing out defensive possessions, and you're just allowing the team to score on you without any contest. And obviously, it made them pay.
Oh yeah, definitely the Suns once they get going with like a momentum, like Chris Paul, he does not miss the mid-range shot. Then Devin Booker, if Chris Paul does miss Devin Booker, then DeAndre Ayton in the paint, like they are absolutely unstoppable when it comes to momentum for the Suns. But for the Bucks, they just couldn't get going. I think it was like the end of the first, they lost the lead, and then they just couldn't get it back till like the end, till like the end. They cut it down, I think, to like a 7-point deficit, but they couldn't come back. I think the Suns were just too much for them this game.
Right. I don't know how the Suns or the Bucks are going to be able to stop this, because the biggest thing for me was Brook Lopez. I don't know if you caught that, but why the heck was Brook Lopez on Chris Paul? Did you question that matchup as well?
That was very. I was a bit curious about that. That seemed a bit odd, because I mean, the one thing Brook Lopez can really like do outside of just being a center is, I mean, he can shoot threes, but that doesn't mean he can guard a point guard. Like he can't guard the perimeter. What's he doing? So I'm glad that didn't last very long though.
Well, I think that's another reason with the Bucks lost, because I get it. I think the thinking is they want someone more physical, like a Giannis on DeAndre Ayton, but I think they ended up putting PJ Tucker on Ayton, which is just ridiculous. PJ Tucker is one of the most overrated players in the NBA. I'm sorry. He does the job well. Like the Houston Rockets last year in the bubble had him be their center at 6'5", which I thought was the stupidest thing ever, but they got him
That was
second round.
mistakes.
And he's a good guy. Like, he's a good player to have on your team. He can rebound the ball well. Excellent defender, very physical. He really gave it to KD in the second round. But, like, why have him on DeAndre Ayton in the finals? And we saw, like, the Suns, if I were them, I would have just laughed and seen that matchup and just be like, okay, well, this is an easy win. Like, good game one win, boys. And DeAndre Ayton, I mean, I have his stats right here. He had 22 points, 19 rebounds, and just under 40 minutes. I mean, you know, it's just going to be something for the Bucks where they're going to have to live with them having big games in order to try and win.
It's going to take a lot to like win against the Suns. I mean, like Giannis has to play above and beyond. Like everybody has to play good, and then Giannis has to just play above and beyond. But it's so hard with like him getting injured. Like I can't see the Bucks beating them at all. Like maybe 1 or 2 games I can see them picking up at home, like a really close game, maybe like 100 to like 101, something like that. Hey, shout out to Brian. There he is. Hello, Brian.
We live in a simulation. This is proof that we live in a simulation.
We live in a simulation, Brian. We're gonna need a Brian and David and Carter analysis one day on the podcast for the finals. But
oh god, next whoever that is that said that after, they're so sus. God, whoever that is.
Mr. DeWood, this man is very sus. But anywho, away from the sus.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That was my bad.
Oh no, don't worry about it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but DeAndre Ayton, he's playing phenomenally. Like the Suns, like somebody like Jay Carter could slip up and they'll still be fine. Like somebody, like they have so much room, like wiggle room to slip up, and they'll still be fine as long as somebody, hopefully Chris Paul does not get hurt. I don't know, because you heard about like he had some like torn ligaments or something like that in his wrist, like his shooting wrist. He had something wrong with that, so that's a worry as well.
And he's still dealing with that shoulder injury he suffered in the first round too against the Lakers.
Yeah. He's bruised up.
You're right. I mean, and people are saying like he just can't catch a break, because this has been the story of Chris Paul's career, where it wasn't until this year, obviously, that he made the finals. But if we go back 3 years ago, if he doesn't hurt his hamstring against Golden State, Houston's probably going to the finals, and they have a good chance to win the final or win the championship. He blew a 3-1 lead with the Clippers. He lost in 7 games last year in the bubble with OKC. So, I mean, This is the farthest CP3 has gotten. I think this is his best chance at a ring.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
like you said, I just think it comes down to also the Suns being deeper. I mean, they have a great young defender in Mikal Bridges. I think that's his name. I hope
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
offending anyone. Okay.
yeah.
And they have Cameron Payne, who's a great 3-point specialist. Devin
Mhm.
Booker, CP3, DeAndre Ayton, who's finally showing why he was the number one pick in that draft. I
Oh.
mean, he should have been one of the top picks, and he's definitely showing it now.
Mm.
Jake Crowder. And their coach, Monty Williams, has turned around this franchise in just a span of a few years. I think in 2019, they were in 14th in the West. 2020, they don't make the playoffs, but they go 8-0 in the bubble. And then this year, they're second in the West, and now they're in the finals. So
Yeah, this is an
it's
improvement. Just keeps going up and up for them.
just like your YouTube channel.
Me
But
and the Suns were the same.
I wanted to highlight that matchup of putting Brook Lopez on Chris Paul because the Suns did exactly the right thing there. They took him right to the paint. They attacked Devin Booker, not Devin Booker. Sorry, they attacked Brook Lopez, and they were able to either drive right past him because he's too slow to keep up with one of their guards, or they were able to shoot it well from perimeter. So, if I'm the Bucks, like, scratch that game plan. Don't put Brook Lopez on Chris Paul anymore.
Don't do that. Just straight up, don't do that. But also, I was thinking about this as well. So the Bucks, when they beat the Clippers without Giannis, like it was the 2 games they won, right, against the Clippers without Giannis. So if they come into that same situation with the Suns, do you think that they'll be able to the Bucks without Giannis? Do you think they'll be able to beat the Suns?
So are you asking if the Bucks can beat the Suns?
Yeah, if they didn't have Giannis, like how they did versus the Clippers. Like I know they lost last night, but like let's say hypothetically, Giannis gets hurt. Hopefully he doesn't. But let's say he does. Do you think the Bucks have any chance at all to beat the Suns?
They might be able to take a game, but I mean, look, someone like Chris Middleton has been really strong in the playoffs for them. He's really underrated. I don't think he's worth the $36 million that the Bucks are paying him, but he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league and just one of the best shooters in general. A little too streaky for my liking, but he's been pretty solid in these playoffs. So
he's really inconsistent lately. I feel like his is always just shooting either like super well or just super poor. Like he's just throwing up shots.
It's just they can take a game without Giannis, and I'll say why. It's just Chris Middleton has to be perfect, like I just said. PJ Tucker has to play great defense, but the other person that needs to get going, and this is the person who did really bad last night, is Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday only had 10 points, really just struggled to do anything. He had some crucial turnovers, just really didn't shoot the ball well, just looked kind of scared out there. And I get it. Maybe it's just the nerves of, it being the first NBA Finals that any of those players have been a part of. Or actually, most of them have been a part of. But, I mean, Drew Holiday's got to be better if they want to have a chance to win, even with Giannis.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm looking right now. It says 40 minutes. He played 40 minutes, went 4 for 14 and 0 for 4 from 3. Like that, those are atrocious, absolutely atrocious shooting numbers. He is just an absolute liability on the court at that point.
And you could argue he's a big reason why they're in the finals because with Eric Bledsoe, they had only made it as far as the Eastern Conference Finals. But then this past offseason, obviously they made the swap Bledsoe for Holiday, and they got better defensively. And, I mean, it helped them go to the finals. So
yeah,
they really need him to get going.
Definitely.
If you want to consider the big three of Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday, you're going to need all of them to drop close to 30 to at least have a chance to win against Phoenix.
Yeah, Brook Lopez. I've been kind of surprised though by him. Like I feel like he's stepped up a bit too, because like before I feel like he wasn't really dropping like 17 points. Like I feel like he was more dropping like less than 10. But now he's been like a lot better since like those games that Giannis was out. Like I feel like he's been just playing like better and better. But I mean, last night not nearly as well as he was before. But I mean, he's out there doing his thing. I guess he's doing his thing a little bit. He could definitely be better last night though.
So he was pretty solid in the first 3 quarters. I don't think he scored in the fourth, but my issue with Brook, and this isn't a problem with him, it's more a problem with the Bucks, is I don't know why the heck they keep setting up these plays for him to shoot perimeter 3-pointers or perimeter jumpers. It's I don't get it. So you have a center, and I get it's the new NBA, but like, why not just have them score from the paint? Like, why are you having Brook Lopez take like 5 threes, 5 to 10 threes? Like, he's your center. Just let's get back to traditional ball. Take your chances against Ayton. I mean, he's shooting contested threes from like the corners. Like, that makes no sense to me.
It's just absolutely no reason why he's doing that. Like, I would understand if he was going against a team with a center that also shoots threes, but DeAndre Ayton doesn't shoot threes. He's not out there shooting threes. He's in the paint. Like Brook Lopez, and he's like, what? He's like 7'1" too. Like, their entire team just looks so much taller than everybody else on the court. Like, I don't know if it's just because Chris Paul is so short, but they just look so tall on the court. Like, it looked like they can just body the paint in the mid range, but they just don't do it. They're just not doing it. I don't know why.
And he's gotten better at shooting threes, and that's not a knock on Brook Lopez, because ever since he joined the Bucks, he's actually gotten way better at shooting threes. He used to be scared to shoot them, and then he was having trouble missing them. But he's actually a pretty efficient 3-point shooter as a center. But it's just, if you're the Bucks, you got to have a better game plan than that. Like, just setting up Brook Lopez for threes. So, and it's something different. And this isn't what happened. People are going to say like, oh, like it was at the end of the shot clock, and he's just hucking up threes to shoot it before the shot clock expires. No, he was shooting threes with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. You got to work it around.
Yeah, they really got to just take that out of the game plan. They need to just come up with something new. They're having games. Is it every other day or every 2 days? Like, when's the next game on?
Next game is on Friday, I think. Let me. I'll double check that.
Nice. So they have a lot of time to rest up as well. Like the Suns, another thing. They had maybe not a lot more. They have a decent amount of time more. Oh, it's tomorrow?
Yeah. So okay. So it is every other day.
Okay, nice. Oh, that's awesome. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, they had a lot more rest than the Bucks going into this, which might be why maybe the Bucks felt like they were a little like uneasy going to this first game. They were a lot less comfortable than the Suns. Like, you could kind of tell the Suns, like, they just, as soon as they got on the court, they just knew what they were doing. Like, they're a lot more prepared, I guess, than the Bucks. You could just sense it. Like, as soon as you saw it on the court, like, it just felt like, it just looked like the Suns just knew what they were doing. Like, they just wanted to win more.
Definitely. And as I said at the beginning, I think that just had to do with them, being fired up, making the finals for the first time in 28 years, playing in front of their home crowd. And they just really took advantage of momentum. And this is going to be the X factor for the Bucks if they want to be able to steal one of these games, or game 2 in Phoenix. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to be better at responding to adversity, because when the Suns went on these mini runs, the Bucks, even more so in the third, they just set up backs and just like fucking up shots, like I said with Brook Lopez. And the Suns just were able to take advantage of those bad shots and just build the lead. And I think the Bucks are going to have to do a better job just calming down, realizing, they're pulling away a bit, but let's just calm down and do what we do and run our offense instead of just forcing stuff with like Chris Middleton or Brook Lopez from the perimeter.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. That seems, they really just they gotta calm down, just like rest up after this one game. It's just one game. It's just the first game. Usually the first game doesn't really sway the series in one certain way. Usually it's like the second game. If they go up 2-0, actually, what's your prediction for the second game? What do you think it's going to happen?
So we'll save those for the end. Save the best for last.
Okay, I like that.
But,
I like that.
I do agree with you. We're in the playoffs. It's a little bit different, maybe like baseball, where sometimes the series are best 3 of 5, where winning or losing game 1 is a lot more crucial. But in basketball, hockey, I think you can lose one game, but it puts more pressure on game 2, because it's really hard to win a series going down 2-0.
Yeah.
So, I think this is a game where the Bucks can not be too down on themselves for losing, but realize like we have a lot of work to do, because they looked decent. I'll refrain my statement from earlier a bit where I said they looked not too bad. They looked decent, but they need to be better. Like, you can't just have spurts of greatness and then just, be in a huge slump. And you need more from people other than Chris Middleton and Giannis.
No, yeah, exactly. Like their team is not very deep. Like what you were saying earlier, like compared to the Suns, like the Suns, their team is like it's pretty deep. The Bucks, it's like they're starting five and then just maybe like one or two other people, and then everyone else is just that's just not. They're just really doing. They're just running laps on the court. They're just running back and forth basically. But I think that Chris Middleton definitely needs to calm down on the turnovers as well. He had 5 turnovers at the same time. Well, like Chris Paul is out there just with those like 41-point game, no turnovers like last game, and then this game was it? I don't remember seeing how many turnovers he had actually. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, he had 2 turnovers and 32 points with like how many assists? 9 assists. Like Chris Paul is so much more elite. Like they gotta really do a lot to go up against Chris Paul. Like he's playing like he's in his prime and he's 36. I just what's gonna happen after this year? Do you think to Chris Paul?
So that's a great segue into something I was actually going to bring up. I think, and this could be a hot take, could be a cold take, whatever. If Chris Paul and the Suns win the finals this year, if I were him, I would retire.
Oh, okay, okay. Can't
And
keep going.
you go. Oh, okay,
Okay.
I'll go. My reasoning for that is if he wins and he finally gets done in year 16, he's going to be 37 next year. He's got to look at the landscape of the NBA. This people on Twitter are memeing this as like a Mickey Mouse run because of all the injuries. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but there is some substance to that where you're going to have to look at this next year and say, yeah, we have a team on the rise, but the Lakers are going to be back with LeBron and AD. LeBron's LeBron. I don't care if he's 37. They're going to be healthy. They're going to be able to get better. They would have been a force to be reckoned with in the league if, or in the playoffs if they were healthy. I 100% believe in that. The Clippers are only going to get better with Kawhi fully healthy again. I mean, they have a chance to maybe make it to the finals if Kawhi and PG both, do what they did this year in the playoffs, just continue that in a more healthy manner. The Nuggets are going to be back with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic at some point next year. Nikola Jokic is obviously the league MVP. And then, I mean, the Mavericks, even though they got out to a slow start this year, they were really hot in the second half. And I mean, Luka's only going to get better. If they can do something about getting someone for Porzingis that'll fit better with Doncic, then I mean, Dallas could be in the mix too. So you're looking at least 5 teams that can give you a run if you're Phoenix in the West for the title next year. So is it worth it for Chris Paul to try and, fight super hard again after already winning a ring at age 37 to go back to back? Or if you're him, would you realize, dang, I'm going to be almost close to 40 and I just finally did what I wanted to do and win a ring. Like, this is a great place to hang it up. Kind of like what Peyton Manning did in the NFL. He won a ring and went out on top. I think Chris Paul should do the same.
Okay, no, you kind of convinced me with that hot take. I've been persuaded to I kind of agree with that. I mean, there's really not much else he can do. Like all-star teams, first teams. I mean, he could just add some extra accolades, I guess, but he could just be further. I don't know, maybe jeopardizing his health at the same time. Like he's only gonna keep getting more and more injuries. Like he's like battling 2 to 3 injuries right now. Like meanwhile, like everyone else is fully. Like the whole league seems like they're injured. He like finally made it out on top of all the injuries. It's like he made it out.
Yeah, I mean, he made it out with like bandages practically all over him. Honestly, it's been a tough run. It's taken a toll on him because remember he also had COVID too. So like,
oh yeah,
even though he's vaccinated, and I don't know, no one knows the effects he felt of it, but. He's been through a lot to get to the finals, and I mean, he's going to stop at nothing to try and finish the job.
Oh, for sure. And he's got like, I don't know what I think that he's not like. Why I think he's not gonna retire after this year is like he just has like the best situation possible. Like with this team, like just all young stars. Like he could get a second ring. Like he really could if he. I mean, if he's putting all into this season, but he definitely could get a second ring if these like the Suns like. Because Suns are only going to get better. Like this is their first ever playoff run. Like Devin Booker and DeAndre and like first ever run, and they're already here in the finals. Like there's like so much potential for them to be doing something great.
I forgot to mention where those 5 teams in the West, I think, when healthy, could give Phoenix a run next year. But I'll also say Brooklyn fully healthy next year. That's
scary.
I don't think Phoenix. I'm just going to say right now, I don't think a fully healthy Phoenix can beat a fully healthy Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Like fully healthy, we're talking Kyrie, James Harden, and KD, and I mean Blake Griffin too. He was kind of cooking towards the end. I mean, he needs like I don't know what it is. He needs to get some practice in, get some more chemistry with the team or something like that. But he's a solid player. Like he's really good.
So
Really
that's why I think Chris Paul should just hang it up. If you're asking me, I think you got to look at the landscape of the league and just think, I'm not going to get a better chance than this. You know, I had fun. Maybe the only reason he comes back because I don't know if you heard, but the Suns are going to offer him 3 years, $100 million in the offseason to return.
Really, 3 years,
So
100 million.
If he wants, yeah, I don't agree with that contract at all. But I think the Suns are reported to be likely offering him that. So if you're him, maybe you just come back so you can earn a little bit more cash. But I don't know. I think that's a little stupid if you ask me, because to your points earlier, like you're only going to get older, more chance of getting injured, like, and you've already made a ton of money. Why do you need $100 million more?
He's got the State Farm bags and everything. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
And with or without him, the Suns are going to be in a solid spot. I think if the Suns are without CP3 next year, I would say they're probably third or fourth in the conference. With him, they could be first or second. But you're still going to be in the mix with or without him for the title, because the Suns just are a fantastic team, and they took a huge step forward this year. That's only going to help them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like the only other team with like this much like young talent and potential would be probably like the Nuggets or like the Mavs, because like the Mavs, like that's going to be a scary team. Like Luka out there, isn't he playing? Like what league is he playing? I don't want to say the wrong league. Like isn't he out there playing in a league right now, like in the summer?
He's playing for Slovenia in the Olympics.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's like already like that. As soon as he gets out of the playoffs, putting in like that off-season like work, and he's already like a filthy. He's such a good player. He's only going to get better, which is scary because he's like what, 22? Is that how old he is? Do I have that right?
22. Yeah, I mean
22?
He's only not too much older than us, and I mean he's been playing professionally since he was 16. He
That's
he
crazy.
just led Slovenia to. They just qualified for the finals for the or to the Olympics for the first time ever, and it's all because of Luka. Oh. He's just carrying them.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder.
He's carrying a whole country on his back.
He's gonna be tough going against the U.S. Olympic team, because actually, how's that gonna work with Devin Booker? Because wasn't he like saying who's gonna play for it? Like, what's gonna happen with that?
Excellent question. So he said, regardless, he's going to be playing in the Olympics. He doesn't care if the finals go to Game 7 and he only has 3 days to prepare. Oh. He's going to be there. Wow. Same with Chris Middleton. He committed.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, honestly.
There's no chance. Well, I won't say no chance, but it's looking like the U.S. is just going to run the tables and take the medal like they do every year, usually.
Yeah, Did they have KD? I feel like they don't have LeBron. They don't have Steph. They have KD.
Lillard, Tatum, Beal.
Oh, my God.
Harden.
Oh, my God. Okay, yeah, never mind. That team is – they're going to win.
Luka Doncic is going to have to pull a 2018 LeBron to, beat the USA team.
He will. That's going to be an interesting game to watch. Do you know – like when are the Olympic Games? Like when do they have them on TV?
So July 22nd, I think it starts in 2 or 3, but July 25th is when everyone reports to camp. I think is going to be on the team. So yeah, in like 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be able to watch like scrimmages and stuff like that.
Oh, we're definitely gonna have to do a couple podcasts on those. They'll be fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. We could do the whole Olympic run if you want.
I'm down for that. I like that. I love basketball. I'm here every night watching basketball.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough after the playoffs, though. No basketball. I mean, the Olympics will definitely help.
Do you think that the quick turnaround from the bubble season to the new NBA season is kind of coming back to haunt the NBA? Because a lot of bad injuries this year with players, Jaylen Brown on the Celtics, Jamal Murray. Obviously, Giannis, Kawhi, CP3 had some injuries, LeBron, AD. just all the superstar players are kind of like dropping like flies. And I think that has to do with it only being 68 days in between the last day of the finals to the start of the new league year. So as much as I supported the idea at the time, I got to think that this was a bad decision by the NBA to start again so early. And it was motivated by money. I mean, look, they wanted to earn back some revenue that they lost during the early months of the pandemic. But, you know, people's health has to come first. And I think a lot of the players are paying the price for the league's kind of selfish decision.
So what do you think? Like, what would you suggest that they do to like try to fix that? Like, try to push back like the NBA season, like a whole year, or maybe just like try to like, what would you think? Just permanently change like the seasons like that they do it, or maybe start in December? Like, what would you do?
So I wouldn't mind the NBA season beginning on Christmas every day or every year. I'm a big proponent of that, but the league is going to be back on track after this season is over because they're going to go back to that late October start. There will be one more, just because of COVID, the timelines were messed up, but there will be one more short off season coming up, and then the league will be back to normal. I think so. The latest the season will end is July 22nd. That's Game 7 of the finals. And the new league year, I believe, starts October 23rd. Let me just Google that real quickly. NBA 2022 season start. It's late October. Of course, nothing comes up. Or October 19th, so a little bit earlier than I said. But that's like little less than 3 months off, which is more than what the NBA had last season. I think they only had 68 days in between seasons. So this is like around 80, 90. And, you know, I think that'll be fine. Keep in mind, though, that a lot of players are going to the Olympics, too, and they're going to have an even shorter off season. So,
oh, yeah. Luka, not a single day off. Right from playoffs, league again. He's just that's nerve-wracking because he's young, so he can probably withstand a lot, but long term, that's no good. That's not going to be good on the knees.
Well, that's why I get scared about people like Bam or Tatum or Beal. Like they're playing in the Olympics, and then you, by the time it's hypothetically done, and like sometime in August, you're only going to have 2 months off. I mean, it's a little dicey.
Yeah, definitely. Like 2 months, only 2 months off, like the NBA, and then an entire Olympic session. Like that must. I can't say I've ever played an NBA game before, but I could definitely imagine it takes a lot out of you. I could definitely imagine it takes a ton out of you, and then just having no breaks at all. Like there's only like you could spend like $1 million on your body, but like time is not gonna like you can't buy time, you know.
And it's an honor to play for your country and represent them in the Olympics, but at the same time, like. We could be looking at some teams that rely on their stars, maybe like a Luka again, where it's going to be tough for them to. Maybe they're not as good as we think, or they don't place as high in the West as we think because they're just so tired from playing so much basketball since June or July of 2020. So, because they practically fit 2 seasons in 1 year, which is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like, I feel like the bubble season just like was like that. The bubble season was weird. I still can't really wrap my head around it. Just the fact that it happened. But actually, who do you think has had an easier path to getting a championship or going to the finals? LeBron in the bubble, or the Suns right now with this injury scattered playoffs?
I'm not a LeBron fan, but I will say the Suns probably because LeBron. They were not really that deep. I'm on record saying when Kawhi signed with the Clippers and then that whole crazy offseason where everyone thought it was going to be the battle of LA between Paul George and Kawhi versus LeBron and AD. I'm like, Clippers are way better and it's not even close. It's not a rivalry. I thought they were so deep. LeBron, because the Lakers, outside of LeBron and AD, they didn't really have much depth. But it was just a magical season. Everyone really overperforming. And heading into the bubble, you know, you don't know what to expect from any of these players after a 4-month layoff. And everyone said in the first round, they picked up right where they left off in those regular season games in the bubble. But when the Lakers went to face the Trailblazers in the first round, everyone said, like, oh, Dame's on a tear, CJ McCollum's on a tear, Blazers in 5. Lakers in 5. Everyone says in second round, Westbrook and Harden are on a roll. Like, you got the best backcourt in the league. PJ Tucker's locking it down in center. Lakers in 5. No, they face the Nuggets. So they've overcome 2-3-1 deficits in the bubble. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are playing out of their minds, which is true. This is all true, what I'm saying, but it's like they just were so disrespected. And then the Lakers take them out in 6 or 5. And then you go to the Heat, and it's like, okay, maybe they had a Mickey Mouse, if you will, playoff or finals matchup facing off against an injured Heat team. But, before that, it was a tough matchup versus the Suns, where first round, injured AD, who can barely stand up, and an injured LeBron at 36. The fact that it went 6 games is a little ridiculous.
I know. That's why, like, the best player on the team was Andre Drummond. Now he's second player, Dennis Schroeder. Like, what is going on here? Also, wait, actually, kind of this is a little off topic. Do you think Dennis Schroeder's out of there? Do you think he's gone from the Lakers this summer?
Oh, he's out for sure, and he will be gone. I'm willing to lock that in, like put it in a buzzer or whatever, buzz that in.
Locked in. Davey knows.
Carter, he didn't even want to be traded to the Lakers. He hated them. It was really awkward. Like, he's boys with Anthony Davis. I don't know if you've seen them like play video games together on stream or whatever. Like, I
think I've seen clips. Yeah,
they do like GTA 5 role play together. Like, stuff like that.
I've seen those. Yeah.
So they're fine, but Schroeder is on record saying during his time at the Thunder, like, he doesn't want to get traded to the Lakers, and he got traded there. They offered him like a 4-year, $80 million extension, and he said no. And he openly gloated about it in his Instagram comments to fans who said, "Yo, sign the extension." He's like, "No, thank you." So he's out of there.
No, thank you. Yeah, I wonder. And
I don't know why. That's a good situation for him.
Yeah, no, it's good for him. Bad for the Lakers, though. If I were the Lakers, I would not want to re-sign him. He played terribly in these playoffs.
It was a mistake to trade for him, but I understand where Rob Pelinka, the GM for the Lakers, is coming from, because you needed an upgrade at the point guard position, and it was the perfect fit for someone like Schroeder because he was done being the sixth man and he wanted to finally start. So, yeah, it was a match made in heaven, but then Schroeder just kind of fell off and he wasn't himself. But, I guarantee he will go somewhere else. I don't know where it will be, but I don't think it'll be with the Lakers.
I mean, some players I feel like they get better on a terrible team. Like, they could be on just an awful team and do so much better on that than another team that's like so much better. What was this? Let's see this comment. What'd that say?
Let me call it back up again.
Melo would poop on Jordan in the 1v1. That's a hot take. What do you think? Melo or Jordan? Prime Melo, prime Jordan.
We're talking about Carmelo Anthony, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Melo has the best footwork probably in NBA history, but Jordan is just Michael Jordan. It's not a contest. I mean, Jordan would win like 21-13 if we're going to 21.
21-13. Who do you think could beat Jordan in 1v1?
God, I hate praising him. I don't like him, but LeBron, let's be real.
Yeah, he could. I think he could beat anybody in a 1v1.
LeBron would win 21-17. That's
21-17.
It would be close. Clocking it in. But
21-17.
That doesn't mean he's the best. That doesn't mean he's the best player ever. LeBron, I still think it's MJ. But if you put them in a one-on-one, I mean, come on. LeBron's like 6'8", 250. MJ's like 6'7". A lot less than that. So,
LeBron would absolutely just body him into the paint. It would be unmatched. But what was I gonna say? Do you think LeBron is like the best player in the league right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, I think it's KD.
Top 3 though?
Oh yeah. I would say the 3 best players in the league right now, probably KD. Then, in terms of people who can just take over and do it all, I mean, you got to go with someone like Curry.
Yeah, he was cooking at the end. When he comes back too. Golden State, you gotta be careful of those.
The Splash
they're
Brothers.
Gonna be good. Klay Thompson's gonna be back, right?
Yeah, the Splash Brothers are gonna be back at it, and I don't expect them to do much, but I think they'll compete for a playoff spot.
Oh yeah, they'll be 7th, 8th seed. Are they gonna do
Wiseman.
Are they gonna do like the what's it called? What was it called? The 9th, 10th, 7th, and 8th seed. What was that
The
called?
play-in tournament. So
The plan. Yes. Are they doing that again?
they are planning on bringing that back next season, which
Mm,
I know people hate that, but I actually really like it. I think in this day and age in the NBA where the lower seeds are becoming weaker and weaker, at least
hmm
records wise, I think it's important you make these teams earn it. And it
hmm
gives you, it's like a little March Madness because there's so much excitement and,
Yeah, yeah.
both teams are laying it on the line. And I like that.
Mm,
And if you think about it, you could be like the Grizzlies. They won in the playing game and they took down the Warriors. And then they went on to win one game, like game one against the Jazz. So like
hmm
there's something to say about the momentum you get from winning a play-in tournament, and I think it gives the lower seeds a little bit of an advantage. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, you don't see a 7 seed or an 8 seed upset one of the top seeds, but
hmm
at least they have a little momentum heading into it. So I
Oh
honestly
yeah.
don't hate it, and being especially
Yeah.
because the 7 through 10 seeds, as I said, in this day and age in the NBA, they're all close in records,
hmm
so it
So
doesn't really impact too much.
I feel like in the East, it's always like just always sub 500, like from 7 down. Just nobody's
Oh
above like a
yeah,
500 record. Like they all just. It's crazy to me too, like how some people in the playoffs can have a sub 500 record and be in the playoffs. Like it just makes no sense. But I like
yeah.
I like that they have a chance. It's cool. It makes it very entertaining because then you wanna root for the underdog team. Like you just have an instinct to root for them. And it's like, why am I rooting for the Grizzlies against the Golden State right now?
Right.
That's what it felt like.
I still would like the only thing I would like the NBA to do is make it harder for a 10 seed to make it to the playoffs rather than them winning 2 games because
hmm
any team in the league can get hot 2 games in a row and go on a 2 game winning streak. So
Exactly.
if you can make it harder for them, then sure. But
hmm
I like the product.
Yeah, no, it was definitely different. It was definitely one of those things you would come up with in 2K, like playing NBA 2K. But
Right.
I mean, it's different. I like change. It adds a little spice to the system a little bit.
You got playing Tatum this year too. He dropped like 50 in the playing game. So
Same with John Morant. Didn't he drop 50 in one of the games, or was that against the Jazz? One of the games he dropped 50. I remember. I can't remember which one it was.
one of these playoff games, yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I mean he's a special player too. But
hmm
yeah, just to wrap up my point about the Suns, though, having an easier run. Yeah,
hmm
they faced the Nuggets where it was only Nikola Jokic because their best player, or their second best player, their point guard, Jamal Murray, tore his ACL a month before. And
hmm
then they faced the Clippers, who dealt with playoff or pandemic P, whatever you want to call him, Paul George, who actually showed out this playoffs. I think a lot of people gained some more respect for him, but
hmm
you didn't have to deal with Kawhi all series. And there's only so much more that the depth of the Clippers can do. And then now you're facing the Bucks, who, are they're going to give you your money's worth. I think they'll take a game or so from you. They'll make you earn it. But like, it's a hobbled Giannis. So
Yeah.
this has been a bit of a cakewalk, and this is going to be an epic. This would be a pretty big disappointment if the Suns can't finish the job here.
Oh yeah. Do you think it would have any effect on Chris Paul's legacy? Like I hear all the analysts talking about Chris Paul's legacy. Like this is just gonna complete the legacy. Like what happens if he loses? Is it just gonna what's gonna happen? Like how are people gonna look at Chris Paul? Do you think?
Just as another player who couldn't get it done, I think
Just
he'll be
another
looked
player.
at as a modern day Allen Iverson. Granted, Iverson's
Mm,
teams weren't as good, and he had to do a lot more. But I think the career of Chris Paul is a bit overrated in the sense where people love to say like, "Oh, he deserves a ring. He deserves a ring." Let me say, I'll be happy for him if he wins. He's not my
mm,
favorite player ever, but like, I never heard of a player who deserves a ring. Like, I don't
yeah.
watch game one of the season and say like, "Oh, Jeff Teague, he deserves a ring." Like he's
Jeff
been in the
Teague.
league for like 10 years. I don't. That's just not how I see it. But
Mhm,
I think a lot of people forget that Chris Paul has blown a 3-1 lead, and this isn't me hating, but he's blown a 3-1 lead.
mhm,
He's had a lot of trouble just making it to the playoffs at points in his career, let alone just doing anything in the playoffs. And
mhm.
it'd be great if he could finally get it done, but yeah, it would definitely be tough for him. He'll be a Hall of Famer, but
Mhm.
this would definitely hurt a lot if he loses this finals because I don't think he's going to get as good of a chance as this.
Yeah, no way. No way he's gonna get a better chance in the next
It's
couple of years whenever he does retire. Because I feel like normally NBA players don't go till like past 40. I feel like 40 is like the limit. Like nine times
40s
out of
usually
10.
the cutoff, sometimes even 38. I mean,
Mhm.
Kobe only played until 37. Granted,
Oh
he was in
wow.
the league since he was 18, but
Mhm.
you know,
Like Vince Carter, I feel like he was 40 when he retired.
yeah, he was like 43 or something. He
Yeah,
he
crazy.
he played like half his whole life was in the NBA. It's ridiculous.
That's actually insane. That's actually so cool. But I don't know. I feel like Chris Paul. I don't know. I feel like as much as I want to agree with like you saying he's gonna retire, I just feel like he's not gonna. I just don't see him as like I don't see him retiring. I feel like he's just gonna be like screw that. I'm here. I'm signing the 3-year contract and I'm here. That's how I see it happening, honestly.
That's probably what will happen, knowing how much of a competitor he is. He's probably
Yeah.
gonna. His thinking is probably gonna. This is what that's what I think he should do. I think he should retire, but his
Mhm.
thinking probably is like now that if he wins and if the Suns win, which we both think will happen,
Mhm.
after the season's over, he's going to be thinking like, okay, finally I got a ring. Like this was awesome. Let's try and do this again.
Yeah,
And I
like
have
did
three
it
more
once, I
years
can
to
do it
do it.
again. Exactly. Yeah, he's like, all right, 3 more chances. I might as well. But that I don't know. The Suns, they really could have a chance to win it again. But let's say Chris Paul does retire. Will the Suns? What will the Suns have to do to try to get back to the finals, get back to the playoffs? Because the Chris Paul is like crucial. Like he is probably one of the main reasons why they're in the finals right now. If they don't have Chris Paul, they might not even be this deep into the playoffs. They probably wouldn't have even beat the Lakers in the first
He
round, honestly.
he makes any team he goes to, he makes their winning percentage like exponentially better. They
Hmm.
did it with the Clippers. When he got traded to the Clippers, they got better immediately. Same
Hmm.
with the Rockets. I mean, they were a win away his first year with Houston from going to the finals. With
Hmm.
the Thunder, a team that no one expected to do anything when he got traded there,
Hmm.
they actually lost more games, but no one expected them to make the playoffs. So you could
Hmm.
argue that he did well there. And then obviously you see what he's done with Phoenix. So in terms of what they're going to have to do without him to make it back, I think it's just, trust your young guys, Bridges, Payne, Booker, Ayton, just to take another step forward and use the experience and make it into the finals to
Hmm.
get even better.
I feel like definitely guys like maybe even like Karen Payne would have to step up. Like I mean, he's not really like one of those front and center type of guys. Like he just if he steps up though, if let's say Chris Paul does retire, if he steps up and like DeAndre Ayton too, if he steps up even more than he already has, like it could be it's like that'd be a crazy team. Like they'd have a big three, just like a big four, maybe even like they'd have a solid team right there. But I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like Jay Crowder is not going to be on that team next year. I don't know why.
Really?
I feel like they're going to get rid of him. I don't know. I feel like he's
He's
not
under
played.
contract for 2 more years, remember, with the Suns.
Oh, okay.
I don't
He's getting old too, though. Right? I feel like he's been in the league
early
for quite
30s.
some time. Oh, okay, okay. Never mind. He'll be good for a while. Same with what's it called on the Bucks? What am I thinking of? PJ Tucker. I feel like he's been in the league
Oh,
since like 2005 or something like that.
he's like 35, 36. His days are numbered. He might I think he'll maybe I'll clock this one in too. Regardless of how the finals goes, I think PJ Tucker might hang it up.
Oh yeah, I think
Win
yeah,
or
he's probably
lose.
out. He's probably
Like
done. It's time. It's time.
the Bucks are gonna ask him to play center, and he's like, no, no, I'm done. I'm retiring.
That's actually crazy. I completely forgot about that. The fact that he played center at 6'5", like the minimum height in the NBA for center should be 6'10". Maybe not even 6'9". It should be 6'10", 6'11". Like you have to be tall to be a center in the league.
Yeah, they traded Clint Capella to the Hawks, and then they asked him to be the center, which again I thought was the stupidest thing, but they actually did pretty well in the regular season once they did that, and they made it to the second round. So, you
So, I
know,
mean,
PJ Tucker is underrated in the
mhm,
sense that he's a great defensive player and great rebounder at such a small height. But, you know,
mhm,
he's like we said, I think he's just sooner rather than later, he's just going to be done. And he's had an underrated career. Definitely not a Hall of Famer, but
mhm,
he's really made a name for himself these last few years. Kind of like a Dwight Howard, where someone that
mhm.
everyone just kind of forgot about is able to, come onto
Just
a
come
team as a
back.
veteran presence and, contribute.
Mhm. What about so do you think, speaking of Dwight Howard then, on the Sixers, what do you think, like what are their moves, you think? Ben Simmons, is he staying? Is he out?
I mean, I think they should keep Ben Simmons for one more year and see if he's made any progress in the offseason. And I know
Mhm.
this has been the same old song and dance that people have said where, oh, just one more year and he'll get a jumper. But if he doesn't get a jump shot this offseason and you don't see any progressions, just like maybe even consider trading him during the season next year because
Mhm.
this is just getting ridiculous. And I'm not going to challenge or question what's going on with him mentally
Mhm.
because you can tell he is maybe a little scared to shoot the ball. He went to go see a sports psychologist to gain more confidence. So
Mhm.
I think that is a real problem, and I'm not going to discount that. But at some point or another, you got to get a good return on your investment if you're the Sixers for your
Mhm.
180 million or 170 million that you committed to him. And
Mhm.
I sure hope he still stinks because he's on the Sixers and I'm a Celtics fan. But I
Oh
will
my God,
gladly
yeah.
take him.
Oh yeah, give us Ben Simmons. Do you think the Celtics have any chance of picking up Ben Simmons?
I think we can have him if we want him. But
Really? Do you have something good
or
for him though?
let me rephrase this. We can put together an enticing trade package for Daryl Morey and the 76ers, but I doubt if he's going to get traded, Ben Simmons gets traded to us due to the Sixers and Celtics being in the same division. And you don't want to help out
Uh,
another team in the conference.
that is true. That is true. I never really thought about it from that perspective. Yeah, definitely don't want to help the competitors out. Just giving us Ben Simmons. But yeah, the Sixers. I feel like they have such bad luck. Like Markel Fultz just ended up just
He
slowly
dodged a bullet
faded out.
there.
They did dodge a bullet, but I mean they wasted like a draft pick on him, and then Ben Simmons. Let's say he doesn't end up like he just ends up being off the team. They don't really get too much for him. Like I feel like if they were to trade him like so much sooner, he would have had such higher value. Like I feel like his value right now is definitely like a little bit further down than like when it was like when he was a little younger. Like it was like pretty high up. I feel like
He didn't attempt a shot Carter in the fourth quarter of games 3 through 7 of that second round series.
you see that's just you can't
You
have
can't do
that.
that.
You can't have that whatsoever.
He I would give it another year, and I think he'll be able to make a bit of a turnaround. But
Hmm.
you just what's the worst that can happen? Like maybe he should even talk to someone like Giannis who keeps shooting
Hmm.
even though he's a terrible shooter.
He needs to get some
Just
advice.
just like talk to him and see like what's up because
Hmm.
Philly is not. They're not going to go anywhere. Ben Simmons is playing like the way he did next
Hmm.
year that he did in the playoffs.
Like
So
Joel Embiid's a very, very, very good center. Like probably the best center in the league, honestly. If I can really think, I feel like he's probably the best center in the league. And I
absolutely.
feel like if Ben Simmons can't do it, they need like just a really solid point guard. Try to get like a point guard center type of momentum going in Philly, and rather than have
Lillard.
Ben Simmons. Lillard, that team would be hard to beat. That would be a
I
very good team.
I
They
doubt they
could.
get him, but it will.
That's
I don't know if they would give up, but it's worth a shot
think they could give up Ben
because
Simmons for Damian Lillard? Like Ben Simmons with like a package with some picks or something?
I would say Ben Simmons, one of their young guys, either Tyrese Maxey or Matisse Thybulle, and you would have to give up anywhere from 4 to 6 first rounders.
4 to 6?
Yeah, it's going to be similar to the Paul George package that the Clippers had to give the
Mhm.
Thunder. They gave up 8 first round picks for
The
Paul
Thunder have like
George.
20 something first round picks, don't they? For the next like
Nine,
maybe 4 years or something like that.
19 first rounders in the next 7 years.
19. That is a lot. That is a lot of
But
picks.
draft picks don't mean anything unless you cash in on them. And
Hmm.
a lot of people think that they're waiting for 2023 to make sure that they get LeBron James Jr. and then
Oh, they're already
maybe
predicting on him.
maybe convince a 39-year-old LeBron to join them in free agency. Which
That could honestly, that's a plan. That's a solid plan.
there's that's just I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think like that's the best you can come up with. You have
Yeah, that's
19 first rounders and you're going to go for a 40-year-old LeBron and a kid like a 20-year-old kid.
they're just gonna blow it all up. It seems like something OKC would do. Like OKC just they're like, all right, this is it. This is the plan.
And And this is the second time. If OKC blows this, like everyone's saying, this GM, Sam Presti, is the best GM in the league because he drafted KD, Harden, and Russ Westbrook.
Hmm.
And he had them all on the same team. And then obviously he blew it up. But
Hmm.
he's had 2 chances to make a dynasty. He had it with that big 3. Now with all these first round picks he's accumulated, he has another chance to build a dynasty. If he doesn't get it done, he's got to be one of the biggest failures ever.
Oh, 100%. Imagine not being able to make KD, Harden, and Westbrook work out.
He's literally has the best chance in a while for any franchise in the NBA to just build a dynasty based on how many first rounders he has.
Yeah, you could build. That's an entire team. That's a roster and some change right there.
Honestly, I mean,
there's so many.
I doubt they're not going to make all 19 selections. I guarantee that. But you got to cash in somehow, whether it's trading them for a superstar. But there's no reason that OKC shouldn't be in finals contention once they're for 10 in a row.
Yeah, they need to go through a good, at least 3 or 4 years of just rebuilding and blowing up this team until they should really even consider trying to make a playoff run. They should just try to stay in the lottery picks, try to stay as far down as possible.
They're probably going to get another first rounder once they move on from Kemba. I mean, let's be real.
Oh yeah. I feel like every NBA player's career just dies in OKC. They just go to die in OKC.
Well, look at what Chris Paul did. Everyone thought he was gone, and then he has like a career year, and then they trade him for a first.
And then Kemba I feel like it's going to be, that's the hope. Kemba wants to have the same situation as Chris Paul, but I don't think it'll happen.
If Kemba wants, he could go off for like 40 points or like 30 points in OKC. I mean, it's only him and Shea there, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So this is a great chance. Yeah, this is a good chance for Kemba to put up his trade value. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll wrap. So, really see if anything I know. Yeah, the Sun just pulled away in the third. Ayton had a lot of easy baskets right in front of the hoop. 3-pointers kept Milwaukee in the game, but they were still a decent distance from taking the lead away from Phoenix. And then another funny point I had was Chris Paul didn't even score in the first quarter, and he still ended up with 31 points.
Oh, really? He didn't score not a single time? That's interesting.
So his final line, 32 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds. I mean, just ridiculous at 36 years old.
That is, that's actually so impressive. Like, being that old and being able to score like that well, like I feel like he hasn't had a season where he just was super poor on scoring, like that wasn't caused by injuries or like he's just naturally like just a really good player, and he'll just probably be that way until, let's say, if he doesn't retire, like say he signs that 3-year contract, he'll probably still play the same all 3 years, probably just as great, honestly.
Right?
That's what I see him doing.
And DeAndre Ayton finished with 19 rebounds. He could have had his 20th rebound, but at the end of the game, Chris Paul snatched it away from him. So, probably a little friendly banter between them in the locker room, just joking around. But I'm sure the win means the most to them.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure the stats are just a little something extra at that point.
Yeah, because Suns had 6 people in double figures. Yep, they had 6 people in double figures, and the Bucks only had 4. And the 2 people other than Giannis and Middleton who were in double figures were Brook Lopez was 17, but he became a ghost in the fourth quarter, like I said, and then Drew Holiday, who had a measly 10. So you need that big 4 to score 15 to 30 points each.
And then the Suns, like what you're saying this earlier, but I remember looking, it was like they scored, it was like 96% of their free throws, the Suns. It was like 96%. Like they only missed
25 to 26.
Yeah, the one Jay Crowder missed, which is insane. Like because the Bucks, I feel like, basically just off Giannis, their free throw percentage it's not always the best, but missing one, like a single free throw, that's actually insane. That's insane. They're a great team.
So let's get into our predictions for Game 2. How do you think Game 2 is going to go?
Game 2, it's Game 2 of the Suns, right? Suns home.
Suns are home for another one. Yep.
I'm saying Suns are winning this. Suns are winning this one. I see it. I'm saying Suns are gonna win. The score, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be 113 to. Nah. Wait, hold on. Maybe not. No, maybe I'm switching this. I'm saying it's gonna be 120 to 113. Suns.
Okay.
What we got, Davey?
I'm gonna say I don't think Milwaukee's gonna win. I don't think they're gonna win until they go back home. So I'll say Suns too. I think it might be a blowout. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to because I don't know. This is tough. This is I hate this.
It is tough when I'm trying to think too.
So I think Milwaukee. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout. I think Milwaukee's going to have a great game plan that's going to do them well through the first 3.5 quarters. And I think the Suns are going to be a little bit caught off guard by whatever their game plan is. Maybe they get better defensively. Giannis and Chris Middleton, maybe Drew Holiday even has a bounce back game. But I think it's just going to be not enough to beat the Suns, who are going to wrestle away the win from the Bucks towards the end of the game, maybe in the last 5 minutes. So I'm going to say 110, 106 Suns.
110, 106. Okay. I like that.
And
I like that.
Last thing before we end this, who do you think is going to be the Finals MVP?
Finals MVP. It's going to be Chris Paul, regardless. Even at the off chance the Bucks win, it's still Chris Paul.
You think so?
I think
even
so.
If they lose,
I feel like it will be.
That hasn't happened since the 1950s.
Really?
I
remember them talking about it. It was in 2016. People were saying LeBron would have. Was that? It was 2016 or 17. They were saying LeBron should have been the MVP if the Golden State were to win. Whatever year, I can't. I'm like.
So they said that actually twice. No. So yeah, I know what you're talking about because that first year it was Cavs Warriors, they said that, and then when LeBron went up against them, when it was just him and a bunch of Fortnite nose teams in 2018, they said it again. Oh. So that's why I don't think it'll happen because if it didn't happen with LeBron, I don't think even Chris Paul, if they lose, that'll win it.
True. You must need to do a lot then. If not even LeBron could have gotten it at that time with a team full of scrubs, it must take a lot then. So
I think Suns win in 5, as I said at the beginning, and Chris Paul is your Finals MVP.
Yes, Suns in 6 for me. Chris Paul, MVP.
And if he wins MVP, that's even more of a reason to retire on top. I mean,
just another accolade, just to add another one.
What else can I do? I won a gold medal. I made first teams. I made the All-Star game. I made the finals.
Exactly.
I won a Finals MVP.
He did everything he could. He's done everything he could. I like that.
Alrighty, so where else can we find you, Carter? I'm going to give you a chance to promote your YouTube channel. So where else can people listen to you?
So if you want to check out Carter Biss, it's CARTER, my name right here on the screen, BIS at the end on YouTube. Basically every single social media, just Carter Biss. If you search it up, it's your boy. And follow my boy Davey Jones right here, the best sports podcaster in town.
Oh, stop it.
I'm telling you. Thank you, Davey. Thank you for having me today, Davey. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. So that is going to do it for this episode of In Depth with David. I want to remind everyone to hit that like button, absorb that subscribe button. We'll have more of these NBA Finals recaps coming, more Red Sox recaps coming, maybe some personal interviews coming in the future as well. Maybe have Carter on that. And,
for sure.
Just look forward to more content on this channel as the summer progresses. I want to thank everyone for watching. Tell us what you liked in the comments below, what you like about us, what you don't like about us, what you like about this show. And we will talk to you after game 2. Thank you again, Carter, for joining me.
Of course, David.
Everyone have a good night. See you later.
Peace out, everybody.